Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In today's video I want to talk a little bit about the process that I go through for accepting and completing commissions, which is the primary source of income for me right now in terms of my art. So let's get started. So I'm going to go through my entire process from start to finish because I think that one of the biggest hurdles or issues or problems that people have with creating commission art or getting commissions is honestly step one, which is putting yourself and your offering out there. So we're going to just start from there and then go all the way to the end, and hopefully it'll help you guys out if you have not already started accepting or trying to get commissions. And even if you have started and you're kind of fumbling, it might hopefully provide some tips for you there. So, of course, the very first thing that you need to do is decide what you want to offer in terms of commission art. That is usually pretty simple because it goes off of what you already create, what you already do for fun, what you feel confident drawing or painting or whatever your art medium is. For me personally, I draw a lot of people and pet portraits. I draw lots of people, I draw lots of animals, and I feel fairly confident. I get a lot of joy out of drawing those things. So that is the commission, or those are the types of commissions that I want to complete for people. So I decided that I'm going to put myself out there as an artist for hire for people portraits or pet portraits, both for animals and people who are alive, as well as what I call memorial pictures for animals or people who have passed on. Once you've decided what you want to offer, the next step is going to be deciding on a price point that you want to start at. And this can be a little bit difficult for most people. Honestly, it was pretty difficult for me at first. So what I did was go through Instagram, because that's where I primarily am as an artist. I went through Instagram and looked at artists that I follow that I know do commissions, and looked at kind of like what they offer in terms of price. And also on Etsy, you can find a lot of, if you search for digital art portrait commission or something like that, something along the lines of what you want to offer, you can search for like pricing options. I will give one caveat to Etsy because I know that there are a lot of lowballers on Etsy. And what I mean by that is there are people who will create quote unquote portraits of pets or people for like $10 or less. And what they usually do, if you kind of look through those listings, is those are just auto-generated. Not necessarily AI, although now AI is a big thing. But there are like Photoshop filters that you can run, or Photoshop like programs that you can run that will take a picture that is provided and put a bunch of filters on it to make it look like a specific style of painting, either like oil painting or watercolor painting or abstract art or whatever. And people will offer those as art commissions for a very low price in the hopes of being able to just run the filter over and over and over and generate income. So you want to try and avoid those if that's not what you're doing as an artist and what you're offering, and look for things that are actually like hand drawn or hand painted or hand sculpted or whatever it is, again, that is your medium. And then go from there kind of to get an idea of what your pricing should be. Remember that if you've never done this before, or if you're just a beginning artist, that you're probably going to be on the slightly lower end of pricing, and you can work your way up. What I have done in the past is start at what I think is a low price in terms of commissions, just in order to get my feet wet, to get a few commissions in, to get some examples that I can show people. You know, this is what I have done in the past. And also, if you are a person who has a website or wants to get testimonials that you can share, that way you can get some actual real testimonials from people who you've done work for in the past. Once you've decided on your offering, you can create a social media post. Depending on what your social media platform is, what your main platform is, what I did is create a few pictures in Procreate as slides for a post on Instagram. It sort of tells you I am open for commissions, here's my pricing, as well as has a few examples of what I have done in the past. And that gives people a really good jumping off point to decide whether or not they want to hire you to create something. One thing to note when you are creating your offering and you're about to open yourself up for commissions is to decide. I personally like to decide on either a time frame that I'm going to be open for commissions or a number, this is more frequent, a number of commissions that I'm willing to accept. And the reason for that is because the commission process definitely comes in like a wax and wane sort of cycle. So, you might put yourself out there for commissions and not get any for a week or two, and then all of a sudden you get like 10. And everybody wants theirs done ASAP, and that becomes an issue because you can't work on all of them at the same time. You can't get them all done at the same time. So what I do, what I make very clear when I say commissions are open is I have this number of slots available, and it is first come, first serve. So when I am communicating with a client who is interested in hiring me or interested in purchasing a commission piece, I let them know, okay, you are number 4 in the queue, which means it's probably going to be this amount of days before I can start. Will that be okay? Because again, if you don't communicate that with the client, they're going to be under the impression that you're going to start their work immediately and they're going to see something in a day or two. And I always want to make sure that clients understand that they're 4th or 3rd or 1st in line or whatever it is, and when they can expect to at least see the first sketch. That helps a lot with managing expectations and keeping clients happy, as well as keeping yourself sane so that you're not trying to do too much at once. You definitely don't want to get started and then not be able to complete what you promised. So again, make sure that you understand how long it takes you to complete a piece, and then factor that into how many commission spots you're willing to take at a certain time, or what window of availability you want to give to your clients. The next thing to decide is going to be your process for accepting payment as well as creating the art. A pretty standard process is accepting a deposit of somewhere between 25 to 50% upfront from the client. I ask for a deposit of 50% of whatever the full amount is going to be. I use PayPal or Venmo to accept payment, and it's usually pretty simple to accept payment through those platforms. And then once the payment is received, I always have to communicate with my clients that I need 3 to 5 reference photos of what they want me to draw if it's an existing person or animal. So, like if they want me to draw a picture of their dog, for example, then I need 3 to 5 preferably good quality photos of the dog. You'll find very often that the reference photos that people provide are not necessarily the highest quality because not everybody is a photographer, and that's okay, but that's why I ask for multiple reference photos because, you can get a little bit of information from one photo, and then when you're like, okay, well, I can't tell what color the dog's eyes are, then another reference photo will show that a little bit more clearly. And it's fantastic if you have reference photos of the subject from different angles or in different lighting, because that gives you a lot more information of what the animal or person or whatever it is that you're drawing actually looks like. And that way, when you're drawing your commission, you can portray it a little bit more accurately, or as accurately as possible. I do stylized portraits, so it's not going to look exactly like the person or animal, but it will look like them in my style. If you are drawing original characters or characters that, or things that don't exist in real life, then you're going to want to get as much information from the client as possible. Like, what is the character, first of all? Is it like a humanoid character? Is it a creature? Is it like a hybrid of different animals? What color or colors are the skin, the fur, the hair, whatever, the eyes? Do they have any distinguishing features like tattoos or scars, or are they missing like a limb or something? And for me, if I do original characters, it's usually for like a book character or like a D&D character, and I will ask, what does this person or creature do? What is their job? Like, what is their main purpose in life? Are they a mage? Are they a warrior? Things like that. Try to get as much information as you possibly can about your subject before you start drawing it. Even if you're drawing things that already exist, like people or pets that already exist, ask questions like, is there a particular toy that this dog really loved? Or did this dog always wear sweaters? Do they have a collar that they loved or that you love to put them in? Things like that will really add a lot more personalization into the final piece that you create for that person. Once you've gathered all that information and you have your deposit, you can begin. What I do is I create a sketch, and that sketch is very loose line work as well as flat colors so that the client can get an idea of where I'm going. So like how I'm going to make whatever they've requested me to draw look, and then what colors I'm actually going to use. That usually takes me about an hour or two to create, and then I will send it over to the client for a review. What the client can do during that review time is request, actually they can request almost anything. Change the characters or the person or the animal's position, make them look bigger, smaller, older, younger, change up the different colors. Maybe I put them in clothing that they would never wear, things like that. So they can ask for almost anything. I'm pretty open when it comes to the revision process in this sketch, because the sketch, again, is so quick to do. If I send that to them and there's anything at all that they don't like, or they want to tweak, or they just want to change completely, that's completely fine. Once I've collected the changes that they want me to make, then I will do another sketch. And here's where I start to get a little bit more strict about what can and cannot be changed, because you do not want to get stuck in a loop of drawing and redrawing and drawing and redrawing a sketch for a client, especially if you're on the lower end of the commission scale, because you're just starting out. So the very first round of sketch revisions, I will honestly let them request almost anything they want. And then the second sketch that I send them will have those changes that they requested, and I will ask, are there any minor changes that you want to make? Like, do you think the eyes should be a little bit bigger? Is the sweater not fitting correctly? I'm using sweater because that's what you're seeing on the screen. I'm drawing a dog in a sweater. Something like that. But there will be no more bigger changes. So like, I'm not going to completely redraw the animal or something in a different environment or in a different pose or anything like that. It's just going to be very minor tweaks. At that point, if there aren't any tweaks that need to be done, then I can move on to the final part of the sketch or of the painting, and I will request the last 50% of the commission. So before the final product is delivered, I ask for the final part of the payment. The way that I deliver the final product to the client is through a Dropbox link. I will upload it to Dropbox, then I will make that link shareable, get a shareable link from Dropbox, and send it to the client. And that way they're able to go and download the electronic file. If you don't have Dropbox, you can also deliver the file via email, but it's a little bit less secure. And depending on the size of the final file that you deliver, you might run into some issues because email clients don't want to deliver large files. Dropbox is free or relatively inexpensive, so that's the option that I use. And because my art is digital, I am able to digitally deliver art or files. So if you are doing physical art, then you're going to have to work out a shipping system for the client. And of course, I would work the shipping price into the final price of the commission, so that you're not eating that cost on top of everything else. For me, as a digital artist, I deliver the file. I also upload the file I have a Redbubble account, and I upload it to Redbubble, but I do not make it public for everybody to see. And I will send the client a link to that Redbubble listing that only allows prints, like art prints, because I've had several clients in the past ask, how would I get this printed if I wanted to? And in the past, I've directed them to, find a printer, basically, or find a printing service in their area, but that didn't seem very customer friendly. So what I do is I upload it to my Redbubble, and then I give them that link, and that is their quote-unquote private link to the product if they decide they ever want to go on there and get a physical copy of the art. Once you have done all of that process, it's time to share your work. What I love to do is create an Instagram post that clearly states that this was a commission. It usually says something like commission complete, and it feels really good to have that achievement under your belt so you can say, yay, commission complete, and then give a little bit of background about the commission. In this example of the dog, this commission was for a fur baby who crossed the Rainbow Bridge, so it is a memorial piece. I had a lot of fun because this doggo loves sweaters and the beach, and that makes it a little bit more personal. And again, that creates a little bit of social proof that you can do what you have said that you can do, and that other people have hired you and are happy with the process. So that's my complete process. I hope that it helps you guys out and provides some insight and tips. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section, and thank you for watching.